Hello, my name is Lynn Waugh. This presentation summarizes my interview for EDACE 830 Program Planning for Adults. I had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Tony Ballard, a program planner for the Division of Continuing Education at Kansas State University. Tony has a bachelor's degree in music education and a master's degree in instrumental conducting. He taught in the public school system for 7 years and served as director of a performing arts center, as well as spent some time as Mr. Mom. Tony refers to himself as a conference and convention planner rather than a program planner because he feels this more accurately defines what he does. He is assigned to the College of Education at K-State, and 99% of his work is based on professional development, conferences, or training sessions. We focused our discussions on just a few areas in which he works, but the bulk of his business is geared toward KSU meetings and conferences. However, his favorite client is the American Society of Mammalogists. There's your new word for the day, mammologist. Animal scientists who predominantly work at universities and museums. This area of work became a primary focus of our discussion because he works in a wide variety of services for this organization. Tony does not follow a specific theory or approach to program planning because he is not trained as a program planner. Rather, he is an educator. He learned his trade from observation, mentoring by others, and from personal experiences. But I found many of the steps in the Boyle chapter that we read in Week 3, Planning Better Programs, to correspond and fit closely with the steps and procedures Tony uses when planning a conference. I surprised myself and used this for parts of my comparison because during Week 3 I took a contrary opinion of this chapter. Key points that Tony expressed Key points that Tony stressed as important characteristics for any planner, be it in programs, conferences, curriculum, or a host of other areas. Organization is key. Details matter. The further ahead you can work, the better your event will be, and the fewer issues that will arise. But always have a contingency plan for things that can go wrong, because they always will. Flexibility. There is no one size that fits all in planning. I quote Tony here, "Theories are important, but real practice is more putting the pieces and parts of those theories together as opposed to sticking to one theory or plan." I find that my approach to teaching was that way. Not all practices work for all students. You had to find a way to reach each individual. Planning a conference or program is just like that. Not all conferences work the same. End quote. We also discussed budgets. This was a tricky issue because at the state and university level, they only want to break even. They do not want to generate a profit or surplus. The organizations he works for like to have a surplus to cushion other expenses and to cover deposits and planning future conferences that they generally work 18 to 24 months ahead. Tony stressed the importance of keeping a close eye on your budget and expenditures and communicating frequently with others who may be committing funds. He also notes that the earlier the contract is signed, the better the financial terms to you. Many conferences Tony is involved in have a trade show or expo as part of the conference. This requires a great deal of planning and personal contact with the vendors, but also adds funds to the conference, which helps offset expenses and keep costs down for attendees. We talked at length about marketing and promotion for conferences. He utilizes many avenues for marketing, from printed brochure, magazine advertisements, email, and even some social media, a skill he admits he has a weakness in. In-hand marketing is expensive and has become obsolete and ineffective. It is important to try new avenues and stay current with trends. Like most of us at the university, actually probably everywhere, Tony works with a very small staff of mostly student workers. This sometimes presents a challenge because of class schedule and turnover, thus another reason to be very organized. All aspects of what Tony does are evaluated using mostly electronic surveys that are sent to each conference participant following the event. DCE uses the Qualtrics system, which is licensed by the university, so all surveys are done in-house. Thus, they are able to quickly tabulate and evaluate results. The main client is also asked to evaluate Tony's performance as the coordinator, as well as additional evaluations for each service DCE provided, such as registration and marketing and any other documents the staff members whom the client had contact. Many of you may not be aware of this, but DCE is a fee-based service, so it is important that they provide excellent service to all clients, especially those outside the university. This helps to generate operating capital for their division. Note, this is kind of why your tuition for these classes is a bit higher than on-campus tuition. One of Tony's biggest challenges is working within the state of Kansas system because of the limitations set by the state rules and regulations, which can be good and bad. The biggest part of this challenge is finding the most appropriate way to get things done. One of Tony's biggest challenges is working within the state of Kansas system because of the limitations set by rules and regulations, which can be good and bad. The biggest part of this challenge is finding the appropriate way of getting things done. Generally, there is nothing wrong with what the client wants to do. It's just a matter that it doesn't quite fit the parameters of how the state allows you to spend money. This presents a very big challenge regarding financial issues because it's hard to tell a client that you cannot spend his money the way they want it. The greatest reward of Tony's job is working with people. If you are not a people person, this is not the field for you. Tony really enjoys working with the mammologist because he was an average science student, but he has learned so much from this group. They share many stories about their research and travels, and he finds it all interesting and quite entertaining. He notes an added benefit of this association is that when he can surprise other people by the knowledge he has gained. His advice to someone entering this industry would be to enjoy it and have fun. Enjoy the travel, enjoy your adventures and experiences, but do not buy into the idea that a conference is a vacation, which might be true if you are not working it. At DCE, they say, you could be at a conference in Vienna or Fargo, North Dakota, and you would not know the difference because you never leave the hotel after arrival. Once in the hotel, you generally do not come out until you go to the airport. While working a conference, 18 to 20 hours a day are norm. You are the first one up in the morning and the last one to bed. I found my interview with Tony to be interesting and informing. I did not know him prior to this meeting, but he is someone I would enjoy having lunch with. If I were in the market to change careers, this would also be something I would consider because I think I would enjoy it, although I do not have the organizational skills to be as successful as Tony. I did not know anything about the program planning department of DCE either. I have only worked with the online program coordinators in academic fields. It was good to increase my knowledge of the workings of the university and DCE. This is the first time I've taken a class during the On a personal note, this is the first time I've taken a class during the second half of the semester, as this is my busiest time in my job, but I've really enjoyed it and I've learned a great deal. I appreciate all my classmates, and I know they have all worked very hard as well. Thank you to all of you who serve or have served in the military. We appreciate your sacrifices and how hard you work. Dr. Susan, I am sorry I did not learn to say your name. Thank you very much for your weekly messages. They have helped a great deal and give me a glimpse of your style and personality, something that I find is often missing in online programs. I wish everyone a joyous holiday season and great success as you pursue your academic goals.